Hi everyone, it's Gwathorn here, and I'm going to be running the Quays of Harlond. Now I'm going to be making a change a bit later on in this instance. I'm changing over to a tank leader of men build. But I'll start off as my traditional redline build with the blue backup. The reason I'm also going to be running it at level 121.
In secrecy, Aragorn has made his way up the Unreal with an army of men ready to fight for Gondor. Now is the time to help lead Aragorn's forces to Pelennor.
Now the main reason I'm moving over to a more tanky build is because this instance is harder than most of the three-man instances. There are bosses in here that my redline captain cannot beat at level 121.
Our paths cross again. I trust our entrances remain unnoticed. Tell me of the situation as we make our way through Harlond.
Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn.
Halbarad, Eladar, Elro here. We head for the southern gate of the Ramas. Quickly now.
Halbarad, Eladan, and Elahir. Storming the Quays. As I said, I'm starting off as a red line. It's quicker. My DPS is higher. And I don't have to worry about dying. Not when I've got these 6 with me. And I'll transfer over just before the first boss. Now the tankier build has quite good self-healing. It's slightly less healing for the archer, but that doesn't really matter. But it's the extra defense that I get. Even though I've lost a little bit of DPS, that's the main reason for the change. I pushed the red line, pushed into the red tree all the way down to the bottom. Almost to the bottom, basically to get all the bleeds done, bleeds active, battle ready active, battle hardened active, so I get all of those. But I also get the extra defense. Now I'm also running a relatively average legendary item. I expect that if I improve the legendary item, then I wouldn't have a problem. But also if I improve my armor, which is averaging out at about 400 10 or so, then I'd have better armour. I'd be able to survive as a red line. But it is what it is. Look at that damage. These trolls do a lot of damage in this instance, and that's what takes you out. Okay, but I'm still here with the 6 of them. We're about to part ways.
We must clear a path.
So this was just to make sure that you were capable of doing the instance, the 3-man instance. It's just the setup. These 6 will go left, forward and then left. I will go forward and then right.
It will be quickest for the rest of my men to enter the field from that point, once the port is clear. Let us move out. Keep your wits about you. Good luck.
Now this instance is one of the featured instances and can be run as a 3-man. I would normally run it over level 100 to get the drops from the featured instance. You run it once a day, you get good drops from running the featured instance, and you can solo it, which is good. When it's level 100. But now with level 121 and the new legendary items, I can just manage to do it at level 121, which also gives me the traceries and heraldries that are with the new legendary item system, which is the main reason for doing it when it's not a legendary, when it's not a featured instance. A little bit more trash to go, and then we've got the first 4 trolls, which is where the problem starts. I'm still getting the cutting attacks, I'm still getting the lacerates, I'm still getting all of the advantage from the bleed damage from the red line at this point. And I have 1 or 2 more mobs, and then we will be into the first boss, soloing the first boss, and the 3 troll elite sub-bosses, companions. Now I have done this red line with the build that I've shown you previously, the one that I'm currently running, but I am more likely to die. So I've decided to go a little bit tankier from this point forward, just to show that it's possible. I'm still running it with a 2-handed sword, even in the tankier configuration, so it's not completely leaving the build away. Still using the same legendary items. Lots of outward bound healings, some inbound healing, and bleed configuration. At the end of the video I'll go and show the new configuration, although I did show it at the beginning as well. Okay, up forward and to the left are the bosses, so I will change over to the Leader of Men tank configuration. Resummon the archer. I'm using a different connection spell with the archer for extra defense. There's the Nazgul, who's the final boss.
What do I find? Insolent stowaways, wretched usurpers. How did this come to be? You refuse to answer for your crimes, then. I will make you pay for riding the ships of Umbar. Make sure not one of these defiants leave the port. I am needed in battle.
First boss down. Second boss down. Third boss down. And there goes the final boss. Well, in this encounter. Great healing. Mainly from the telling mark, but from other things as well. And a good output, healing output rating. I got another enchantment item, enchantment rune. Now we will continue out to face the final two bosses.
Exemplary work. I must go take charge of my men at the moment. The success of this assault is critical. Help Gimli and Halbarad defeat orcs along the Rummus. Those fiends must not ambush the rest of my men as they make haste through Harlond. I am counting on you all.
And now we run off with Gimli and Halbarad to pick up some minor mobs and a few trolls. I'm going to stay yellow line. Troll. These crushers do a lot of damage. If they hit. Lots more parry and evade from the yellow line captain. Now let them run off. They can take the next battle. I'll just take a bit of food and a bit of resistance. Gimli and Halbarad can hold their own for the first few minutes, first few seconds of a battle without issue. Have to keep the mark active as often as possible for the healing that it gives. Tank's best friend. And Gimli and Halbarad will continue running off to the end of the wall, take these guys on, including the troll at the back, who's the highest priority. Good. Got to keep that mark up. Got to get rid of the wounds and poisons. And now they've indicated that we can move on to the next part. So I'll run back along the wall. There's little mobs in these groups of fighters that can activate and slow down your progress of getting to back to Legolas, Eladan and Elra here, because there's a Mumak that we have to take out. Should be able to get between these two mobs. Trash mobs. Head over to Legolas. Legolas will run as soon as we get near, and the battle will start. Target the Mumak and keep out of the stomp zone. There it is. Move away. Don't worry about the extra archers. Let the others take care of them. Just keep your healing going. Keep your damage going. Keep the bleeds going. Take out the Mumak. Tidy up the archers after the Mumak's gone. And that's that boss gone. Okay, I'm going to run across here and heading to the final boss, that is the Nazgul. We have a couple of mobs, trash mobs to take out, and the defilers that are guarding the gate. It's a bit difficult, but okay, I've pulled an extra mob. See if I can do them all together. Keep that healing up. Big damage. Big damage. I just survived that. Stay away from the poison area or it kills you. Draw those defilers out. And having cleared that, we are now to the final boss. That was fairly lucky. I got too close.
The end has come for you. My brethren may have fled the battle, but I remain. I stand here with no orders, only to see you pay for what you have done to the causes of Umbar. In another life, I once called Umbar my home. Those men, my lineage failed me. That fault lies on you.
Keep the mark active, burn it down, keep the healing and the muster courage to remove wounds and such. Used a hope token, so there's less dread, which is the red bit at the top, at the end of your morale. And drop all the big cooldowns as soon as they turn up. There's a few ads that come in you can ignore. The cutting attack and the grave wound combination should do some area of effect damage. Bleed damage to them, they should just disappear. Or at least become less of an issue. 3 million morale to burn down. And it shouldn't be a problem. Almost there. And we're done.
Nazgul beckons me.
End of instance chest is here. It should drop some revamped legendary items. Okay, we've got an empowered block. Okay. And that's the Quays of Harlond. As I said, I'm still using the legendary items that I have the description. In the description you'll see what those items actually are, and I've changed over to the Leader of Men build. I've kept the same virtue traits between the redline build and the yellow line build.